Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson Today. We are listening to Vengeance Killers, Millionaires.
Phone at that point was help, help. There was sounds of a gunshot and a woman screaming for help. And then the line went dead. There's been a murder. I said, well, what do you mean there's been a murder? He said, yeah, they found two women murdered up by the garage. It's got to be there.
It's something that is totally unbelievable. To kill them both, it was just devastating. And you just could never, ever imagine something like that happening in Oxford.
It was vicious in the extreme. When officers reviewed the CCTV, they identified a couple that came down the pathway around the time of the murder, and these are the people responsible for the death.
Harcliffe, a quintessentially English village situated in the heart of Bedfordshire, best known for being the birthplace of British explorer Arthur Henry Newman.
Harcliffe is a smallish village in mid-Bedfordshire, straddles the A5. It's a quiet village. It's on a route between Dunstable in the south and Milton Keynes in the north.
Everyone knows everyone, really. So it's quite a nice little place to live and to stay and to be, really.
It's a lovely local community with a pub and a lovely little school. There's not a lot of trouble. It's a good little village.
And so the community is quite close-knit. A lot of people know a lot of other people, so everyone kind of knows everybody.
And central to the community and village life was Iris Jones and her husband.
Iris was a much loved figure in the village, well known in the village. She lived here for years and years. She was known especially for the fact that she had fostered something like 120 children, she and her husband, over a sort of 30-year period, starting in the 50s and going through to the mid-1980s. She was a woman who had fostered over 100 children. The local community held her in the highest regard. She literally was an angel walking amongst us. Auntie was, once you got to know her, she had a heart of gold. And she'd do anything for anybody. She was much loved, caring, compassionate person who opened up her home to countless children, less fortunate. I mean, it became a way of life for her. Several children there she actually grew up with. And as I say, that was her life piece, really.
Iris's husband died in 1993, leaving Iris a widower. She remained close to her children, including her foster daughter Mandy, who she relied on.
Mandy Jones was fostered by Iris when she was about 4 years old. She's had a proper mother-daughter relationship throughout her whole life. Mandy was 34 years old. She was a carer herself. She worked in the care industry. Her whole life was about caring for others. And when Iris's husband died, she moved back in with her foster mother to care for her in her declining health. She was a caring girl. There wasn't nothing she wouldn't do for you. Iris walked with the aid of a frame and walking stick. She had heart problems. She had diabetes. And she had failing eyesight. In later years, as Iris's health declined, Mandy took a much more active role in the care of her foster mother, looking after her, caring and making sure she had everything she needed. The 999 call was made at 7:44 that evening, and it was made by Mandy Joseph. All that Mandy Joseph could scream down the phone at that point was, help, help. Then the line went dead. If a 999 call is cut off or goes dead for whatever reason, the operator will review what they've already heard. In this case, there was a woman screaming for help, so they would then dispatch units to the house.
Mandy's screams were not the only disturbing sound the police operator heard.
There were sounds of a gunshot, a woman screaming for help, and the control room inspector would then decide on the appropriate level of response because of the high level of risk to both the officers attending and the public. It's a proportionate response to dispatch a firearms team. In this case, it was always going to be a firearms team. The call handlers did try to call back, and there was no response, but the police were able to trace where the call had been made from, and that resulted in police being sent to the property, including armed police officers, who forcibly gained entry into the house that evening. The house where the shooting had taken place was up a gravel drive and situated behind a garage forecourt. There's a petrol station, and by the side of it there was a track that led down to this detached house.
Upon arrival, the armed officers were met with a gruesome sight.
They found Iris, she was lying by the sink. Further search of the house located Mandy in the lounge. The women had been shot. Iris had been shot twice. Mandy had been shot 4 times. Shotgun cartridges were found at the house. So it was clear to the police officers that it was a shotgun killing of both women.
Immediately, police get to work preserving the scene.
Once the scene's been cordoned off, we'll be thinking about fast-track actions. What is it that we can do now to move the investigation on? The house was set back from the road, so was there any CCTV that could be reviewed straight away? What we want to do is try and identify the offenders as soon as possible. We were sitting here watching telly, and all we could hear was sirens and a lot of commotion. And I went out and I could see the helicopter flying over Auntie's house. And I come in and I said, there's something up, to the wife. And at the time we had a phone, and I rang up my father and I said, there's something going on up Auntie's house. And then my father rang me and said, there's been a murder. I said, well, what do you mean there's been a murder? He said, yeah, they found 2 women murdered up by the garage. And then the bell began to sink in, and I can remember my father saying to me then, it's got to be them. And that was a shock and a half when we knew it was both of them.
Quick assessments of the house revealed that there was no one else on the scene. However, it appeared that some items had gone missing.
A DVD was taken, the women's handbags were taken. The motive looked like it was burglary.
Was this a burglary gone wrong?
It was just devastating, absolutely devastating. And you just could never, ever imagine something like that happening in Oxford.
I think everyone talks to everybody, and it would be a very short period of time until everyone knew the situation.
I mean, this is a quiet area. People will tell you that it's quiet, and it's quiet now. shooting, 2 people dead in the village. Truly exceptional.
And the question on everybody's lips was, who had committed such a heinous murder? In a little village, or little villages, things spread quite quick. And people were all concerned because things like that don't happen. It's a nightmare.
This was a shocking crime in the village of Hopping. Somebody using that amount of force on 2 helpless women and has only one
I told you, bad dog. No barking.
In the quiet Bedfordshire village of Hopcliffe, news has spread of the brutal murder of Iris Jones and her foster daughter, Mandy Joseph.
This is the house where Iris Jones and her late husband Clifford cared for 120 foster children. This kindness was the fruit of their downfall. The local community and the choir area were obviously shocked by the whole incident and very sad at the loss of 2 well-respected members of the community. Everyone knew about it. It was the talk of the village. As I moved along the high street, talking to people, everyone was aware of what had happened. Lots of people knew Iris Jones, knew Mandy, and they were just stunned that 2 members of the community, 2 kind, caring people, should have had their lives ended in such a way.
To me, as silly as it sounds,
No barking.
quiet, and I think that's how it was. There was so many police around and all that lot, but it shocked everyone. Really shocked the villages, not just Hopcliffe. With fear spreading through the community, police need to quickly establish the circumstances around the murders.
Once the scene's been caught actions, so anything that can lead them to the identity of suspects or defendants, and that will include any passive data like CCTV, ANPR, any phone work that can be done. But it will also include speaking to witnesses, suspects, but also what we call victimology. If you find out how a person lived, you may find out how they died.
Post-mortem results reveal that Iris was shot twice and Mandy 4 times using a shotgun.
This is a very brutal murder. The way both Iris and Mandy have been gunned down with a shotgun, it's absolutely, it is. It's top scale brutal. It's vicious at the extreme. Mandy had been shot in the chest and also in the hand, which shattered the mobile phone she was holding to make 999 call. So that's why it abruptly ended. Upon realising what was happening, she ran to the phone, dialed 999, and was screaming for help. But the phone was shot out of her hand, and this was confirmed by the pathologist during their post-mortem.
With the emergency call cutting out when Mandy was shot, police confirmed the time of death as 7:45 p.m. So can start to piece together Iris and Mandy's last known movements.
The police have been out talking to residents in the area, doing house-to-house inquiries. But of course, they've also made inquiries with the garage forecourt where there was a shop, and they spoke to the staff there. Mandy had finished her shift at the care home in Luton where she worked and had arrived home. But first, she called at the garage forecourt and went into the shop to buy some items, firelighters, because I think the plan was to have a log fire that evening. So she bought firelighters, she bought some cigarettes, said hello to staff before going back up to the house.
And inquiries at the garage give police their first breakthrough.
That garage forecourt was subject to CCTV, which was handed over to the police. The thing with this investigation is we can tie on the 999 call. So one of the fast track actions would be to review any CCTV in the area around that time. And an obvious one was the garage phone call because you had to drive past that or through it to get to Harris's house. We obviously reviewed the CCTV to identify the vehicle that came down the pathway and back out onto the A6 around the time of the murder. And one sees this people carrier moving in the distance, moving past the garage up along the track. And it was at a time which was about 10 minutes after a 999 call had been made from the house.
Down.
And that's what led the police to
Don't look at me.
identify
Look over there.
driving the vehicle and so on.
I said,
Once we have the registration number
okay.
of the vehicle, it is flagged on the police national computer to be stopped and checked and reported back to Bedfordshire. Because they may be witnesses to the offence, they also may be the offenders. So it's imperative that we find them as soon as possible because we can put them in the area of the murder at the time it happened.
A day after the murder, and police track down the car in Suffolk. Inside is a couple. But that's not all.
When they searched the vehicle, they found a shotgun in the back. Once the police find a shotgun in the rear of the vehicle, then they were arrested on suspicion of murder straight away because we've got two victims with shotgun wounds. So you got the suspicion straight away. The police told us on that Monday they had arrested the couple along with a 14-year-old boy.
Police name the couple arrested as 36-year-old Anita Manderfield and her husband, 46-year-old Michael Gilcroft, as well as an unnamed teenager.
Where the shotgun has been used or a firearm has been used, it's found that we identify everybody who may have been responsible or may have come into contact with the weapon. So in this case, the police forensically examined the 14-year-old boy, and that examination revealed that he had gunshot residue on him. He's covered with gunshot actively. Now, so he was at the scene of the crime, so that's where the police stopped accusing him of murder. Once suspects are arrested in the case, that's just a start of the work of the police. There's a huge amount of forensic work that has to be done. We have to carry out searches of their home address or home addresses. We have to speak to witnesses or people that knew them and dig into their background as well to see if there's any motive that we can identify.
Police start by looking into the backgrounds of Anita Mansfield and Michael Milcroft to see how they could be linked to Mandy and Iris.
Anita Mansfield was someone Michael Milcroft met in the 1980s. He met her in a pub in Dunstable. They quickly formed a relationship. He then married Anita Mansfield and they had a family together. We do know that he may have worked as a pot man helper in a local pub in Leighton Buzzard at one stage, but to all intents and purposes, he was unemployed. He was a carer for Anita. She didn't work. She had health issues to the extent that she couldn't work. A lot of people, a lot of our neighbours thought this was a bit of a sham and that she was using her poor health as a meal ticket, was the way it was described. She was claiming benefits, but always had delusions of grandeur. She craved a more affluent lifestyle.
Information found at the couple's home at the time of the arrest reveals they were on the verge of moving.
Milcroft and Mansfield had set their hearts on buying a large country house in Suffolk. Really, they wanted to put their lives on a sound financial footing. They lived a nomadic life of leaving a very much a hint of now existence. They wanted to buy a big house for the family. They found a house to move to, the dream home, which I think was one of the most expensive properties in the area. And they wanted to go to that home with its swimming pool and so on. And so the house near Beccles, that became the house of their dreams. And it was on the market, I think, for £740,000. The purchase should have gone through in the December of 2004. But again, Millcroft and Mansfield weren't ready. They hadn't got the funds. And so a new date was arrived at, which was February 28th. Millcroft and Mansfield were pulling the wool over the sellers' eyes in relation to the funding for buying their house.
With the couple living on state benefits and with no savings, police are perplexed as to how they can afford such an expensive new home. But it's not long before officers discover something of interest.
They were renting a property, and searches of that property found documents belonging to Mandy Joseph in the house itself.
The documents are revealed to be life insurance policies taken out by Mandy Joseph 18 months earlier.
She took out two with different companies. One was Norwich Union and one was Zurich Insurance.
Further investigations revealed that in the event of Mandy's death, a beneficiary named in the policies would receive a staggering £800,000. And this beneficiary was named as Anita Oakfield Bennett, also known as Anita Mansfield. Suddenly, police believe they have a motive for murder.
For the insurance companies to pay out, Mandy Joseph had to die.
Police investigating the murders of Mandy Joseph and Iris Jones have arrested a couple, Anita Mansfield and Michael Millcroft, alongside a 14-year-old boy. A search of the couple's home uncovers life insurance documents in the name of Mandy Joseph, which would pay out £800,000 to Anita Mansfield if she died.
Their plan was to get their hands on around £800,000. And unknown to Mandy, Anita Mansfield had taken out life insurance on her life, so that in the event of Mandy's death, the money from two life insurance policies would come to Mansfield and Millcroft.
You can't just go out and take an insurance policy on somebody. There has to be a lot of deception involved. And in this case, they deceived both Mandy and the insurance company.
The couple were extremely cunning all the way through. They built up a picture of Mandy's medical history. They had documents belonging to Mandy they shouldn't have had. They had a mobile phone of Mandy's that was taken from the house. Again, these were all things that could provide them with details of Mandy that would help them in the plan to set up these bogus insurance policies.
Police now believe Anita and Michael fraudulently set up the insurance policies to help fund a new lifestyle.
The plan was to buy this large mansion with the proceeds of that insurance policy.
There were policies apparently taken out on the life of Mandy, and they would have provided the husband and wife defendants with a beautiful home with swimming pool and all sorts of other good qualities.
To get the money, Mandy Joseph had to die, and that meant they had to kill her.
But the question still remains. How are Anita and Michael connected to the victims, Mandy and Iris?
Michael Millcroft was the foster son of Iris Jones. He had gone to live with Iris and her family in 1959 when he was just 10 days old. And Iris gave a stable home full of love and warmth to lots and lots of children. And Michael Millcroft was one of them. So at the age of 10 days old, he was living with Iris and brought up by Iris and her late husband and became part of the family.
So for his whole life, Iris was his mother.
I remember Michael. Yeah, he'd be a bit younger than me. He used to play with us as kids. He was part of our family.
It was said that Michael regarded Mandy as his younger sister. She looked on him as an older brother. They were brought up together as children. They sat round the dinner table, went on holidays together.
At one stage, Michael's girlfriend, Anita, even moved into the home with him. But in 1989, it seems there was a divide in the family.
Iris and Mandy, Michael and Anita had all gone on holiday to Mallorca. There was a big row while on holiday, with the result that when everyone returned, Michael and Anita Mansfield moved out. And that really marked a 12-year gap in things because he stayed away from Iris and Mandy for all that time and didn't come back into their lives until around 2000. When Michael came back, he changed his name. He was always known as Michael Jones. He'd taken
Hello. Hi.
Michael Millcroft.
I'm here.
You're outside?
Anita.
I'm about to be.
Oh, okay.
He was unemployed.
It's believed that this is the point in which the couple devised their devious plan.
You want me to go and get him or something?
For that to happen via a festival is just
Okay, I'll try calling down there.
it's something
Well, he answered, but I can't hear him through the phone. You're not these are the things
Does what?
I called him
Yeah.
and he answered, but I can't hear him through the phone.
Oh, okay. Something's wrong with the phone then?
I think so.
Okay, then I'll go down. I'll check first. I'll call down first, and then I'll tell him to come up, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
On the shotgun, as well as Mansfield's DNA. These are the people responsible for the deaths.
Police present all their evidence against Anita Mansfield, Michael Millcroft, and a teenager to the Crown Prosecution Service.
Eric, Jackie wants you to come upstairs. She said she couldn't hear you on the phone. Okay.
With the three pleading not guilty to murder, preparation begins to build a case for trial. Starting with trying to prove that the couple had taken out a fraudulent insurance policy.
Anita did much of the setting up over the phone. She would ring an insurance company, pretended to be Mandy Joseph, and
Did you talk to her?
Mandy's medical history.
What happened?
Saying what she smoked in a week, what
Oh.
alcohol intake.
She said she's here.
That sort of thing. These were all details that she had somehow gleaned over the last few years in the build-up to the killing, and it helped her in the defense that she was Mandy Joseph on the phone.
With the policy set up, there was only one thing left to do.
Mandy's death was essential for the claim to be made on insurance. It was a racing certainty that Iris would be in the cottage because at that time she was housebound. So they both had to be killed if they were going to succeed in getting the insurance money. In it's hard to believe that anybody thought they could get away with it. I mean, to us, you've got to be a little bit sick in the head to think that you could get away with something like that. So off with.
With the trial looming, defence barristers are appointed for the three defendants.
I've done many murder trials, either prosecuting or defending. The first I knew about this case was I was instructed in the autumn of 2005, and because the police and the CPS had chosen to charge the boy with being a murderer, he went into custody. So he's remanded in custody, and he goes to a small specialist unit where I visited him.
But there was one piece of information which hadn't yet been revealed about the 14-year-old boy.
He was their son. And I think potentially the most evil part of the case was that the parents thought they could blame their son and get away with it.
In Bedfordshire, Michael Millcroft, Anita Mansfield and their own son have pleaded not guilty to the murder of Iris Jones and her foster daughter, Mandy Joseph. The trial begins at Luton Crown Court.
The defendants in the case were a mother who complained of being a father who was a rather pathetic sort of individual, and their 14-year-old son who left the premises covered in gunpowder.
What was revealed in court was the lengths that they went to plan this murder.
The court hears exactly what unfolded on that fateful day.
It was just an ordinary day. It was Sunday afternoon. It was known that Millcroft and Mansfield were coming to the house that evening, and that's one of the reasons that she called into the shop, because the plan was to have a log fire burning for them when they arrived to make it homely and welcoming. And so Mandy would call into the shop to buy fire lighters and to help get the fire going. Fire was waiting for him in the kitchen and made a cup of tea and got a log fire roaring.
The first shot would have been delivered to the foster mother. She goes down on the ground in the kitchen. Mandy came into the kitchen, having heard the shot, and received the second barrel. She staggered out of the kitchen, and the son was able to describe to me that his father, having fumbled with the shotgun, reloaded it, went out into the hallway, and shot Mandy a second time.
At one point, Mandy Joseph had been on her knees, having received a shotgun blast, but she was still on her knees when she was shot again.
Mandy still wasn't dead, so he fired bullets of shotgun into her again a couple of times, and then returned to the kitchen where his foster mother was still breathing. So she heard the killing, and he fired at her finally, killing her, and then left the premises.
In those last seconds of their lives, for Mandy and Iris, it must have been truly terrifying.
In the execution of their crime, the couple went to great lengths.
Okay.
Plan didn't fail.
They even claimed the shotgun cartridge. Normally, a shotgun cartridge will fire small
ball bearings and they will spread out into a certain pattern. In this case, they used harder and larger ball bearings. Absolutely lethal and illegal to change the shot as well.
The jury also hears how the couple went even further to try to distance themselves from the crime by blaming their son.
Here were two defendants saying that it's the third defendant that did it. They were totally innocent. If there was any dishonesty shown by them when they were first seen by the police, it was because they wanted to protect the boy. That was their story. His story, of course, was that he simply wasn't involved. I think potentially the most evil part of the case was that the parents thought they could blame their son and get away with it. I relied upon the 14-year-old boy, he was then 15 when I represented him, relied on his recollection. He was the only witness to the killing, and his recollection was clear that it seemed to fit in with other evidence.
The young boy was able to tell the police that he was aware that Millcroft and Mansfield had been planning the deaths of the women for some time, and that various ways of killing them had been discussed and thought about. They sent his 14-year-old son to the library to research on poisoning.
He did what he was told. He went and looked in the library and read about one or two things and reported back on it.
Researching not just an insurance scam followed by a shooting, but other methods that how Mandy should be killed, including looking into poisoning her, looking into electrocuting her, looking into masonry, heavy masonry falling onto her, or that she would be the victim of a mugging gone wrong. But it was clear from the evidence that was presented that they've manipulated him as he was growing up.
Anita's defense mirrored that of her husband. Both claimed they heard the firearm discharged and the father left the vehicle and went in and found this dreadful scene. She claimed to have remained in the vehicle outside the cottage. Her husband went in and then left a few minutes later together with the boy.
The thing I remember most about this investigation was the sheer callousness and brutality of the murder, and the callousness to take out life insurance policies because they wanted a house, and the brutality to murder two innocent women so that you can buy that house. It's evil.
After weeks of hearing evidence, the jury retires to consider their verdict.
The 14-year-old boy was found not guilty in this case.
He wasn't wicked, and he wasn't a killer. And that's what the jury must have been satisfied for by, at the end of their deliberations, that he had not been proved to be any part of the murder.
Then the jury delivers its verdict against Anita Mansfield and Michael Millcroft.
The evidence in this case was overwhelming. We have the forensic evidence. There's Millcroft's fingerprints on the trigger of the shotgun, as well as Mansfield's DNA. 14-year-old boy had shotgun residue on his person. We've also got the CCTV from the time of the murder, and we've also got the shotgun found in the back of Millcroft's car. Adding to that, the documentation belonging to Mandy Joseph found at the rented property in Suffolk, as well as all the financial documents which identified fraudulent life insurance policies. So, yeah, pretty damning.
And it appears the jury agreed. Both were found guilty of murder.
Anita Mansfield received a sentence of 30 years, and Michael Millcroft received a sentence of 25 years. Mansfield longer sentence because the judge found that she had been the prime mover in what happened. In putting together the plan, she had been the cold, calculated director of operations. Millcroft had very much been a passenger in what happened.
And the reality was that this was a vicious, mean, wicked killing. And I seem to remember an observation by the judge that they had shown no remorse at any time. And that was clearly the case.
The judge said
Eddie?
this was,
Eddie?
there was no sudden spur of the moment killing. They never once apologised.
You better not be in
for
those
what had
plants
happened.
again.
They showed no remorse.
And the case has left its mark.
When you leave the court afterwards, you never forget the tragedy of the death of the two women.
I think the saddest thing about this crime is how little Millcroft and Mansfield valued the lives of their family. Why they done it, I know why they done it. They done it for money, but why anyone would think they could get away with it, it's quite unbelievable, really.
I've been a policeman now for nearly 29 years, and I've dealt with some very nasty people, but I've never come across any people quite so evil.
Following the sentencing of Millcroft and Mansfield, Iris's natural son Brian revealed how his mum would have been looking forward to her foster son's visit on that fateful day.
First thing she'd do would be at the kitchen sink to make a cup of tea. And that's how she would have greeted them. I loved you with a cup of tea. And then they shot. I mean, Mandy would still be here now, and even today, there's not many days you don't, something triggers your mind and you think of Mandy and my auntie and Iris. That's all I can really say.
The death of Iris and Mandy, these were women that had given their lives to helping and caring for other people. Iris especially, she had taken Michael into her arms when he was just 10 days old. Truly, truly shocking and really, really upsetting.